So I've been putting up a lot of videos about the Occupy Together movement in Colorado Springs and in Denver. And one of the things that I think is important for me to get across is that a couple of weeks ago, when Denver first got raided the first time in Lincoln Park, when they broke out the riot gear and they took all of their tents and supplies and threw them into the back of a dumpster and, ousted them from Lincoln Park. I was watching all night on the live stream of it, and I was just horrified, but at the same time, I was amazed that Denver even had riot police. This is Denver, Colorado, How do they have all of that riot gear just stored away somewhere for this kind of an event? It it boggled me. I made jokes on Skype with people that, I think I see one of the price tags still on one of those billy clubs. How did they have all that gear? So I was just in shock. I was in disbelief. I could not believe that the Denver Police Department would bring out that many people clad in riot gear to remove all those protesters. And a similar situation is now brewing in Colorado Springs, of all places. This week, it was brought to our attention by some people who had passed by the operations center for the Colorado Springs Police Department that there are now new vehicles in their parking lot. A couple of them were from Homeland Security, and they had never been seen before, but particularly troubling is the urban assault vehicle that they now have. And when I see this urban assault vehicle, it immediately brings back memories of watching the protesters that I've gotten to know in Denver being hit with tear gas and billy clubs. And those are the kind of vehicles that they had. And it's hard for me to believe that the same scenario that's playing out in every other big city could happen in Colorado Springs. So I talked with Ed, Pikes Peak Ocean, here on YouTube, and Ed showed me some videos that are on the CSaction YouTube page of a guy who's been basically following protests for a long time. And yeah, Colorado Springs has just as many riot gear get-ups for their police as Denver does, and they've used them before. And it's, all these horrific scenes that you've seen of police brutality that have happened in the last few weeks, they've happened before here in Colorado Springs. And that just wasn't my image of this city, but apparently it happens. Every few years there's another incident. And I'll put some links below to the more horrific things that have already happened in this city to peace protesters. To see someone get stopped and beaten and tear gassed for just holding up a peace sign, and that happened a few years ago in this town. I really do feel for the protesters that I've met here in the Occupy Colorado Springs area, because this could happen to them, and they have a permit to be where they are, but in the past, the protesters that are on the CSaction YouTube site that had all this stuff happen to them, they had permits to be marching where they were, and they still got beat down by the police. So it's unreal. So while Ed and I were on a supply run for the Occupy Colorado Springs site, he stopped me by the operations center for Colorado Springs police, and I saw the urban assault vehicle myself, and so I told him to make another pass so that I could get it on camera for you guys.
You got it good? There's a cop right there.
Working on the train, yeah, that's the sound of the men working on the chain gang.
Okay, going slow.
CSPD Operations Center, and there is, slow down, there is the brand new assault vehicle that they have parked in there.
Got it?
Yep. And that's, yeah.
Let's get the hell out of here.
How many blocks away from the protest are we right now?
We're about 10 blocks. We're not too far from downtown. We're coming up on Nevada and Los Animas. This here is Nevada. And all you have to do, you got, I didn't really count how many more lights. But this is Nevada and Los Animas, and you can see the area where the protest is not very far. It would be, we're probably about 5 minutes away from it drive time.
So, after thinking about this for quite a while, I have this feeling that's not so much fear of what's going to happen with that urban assault vehicle. It's more of a feeling of disgust in that if I were to try to estimate the price of an urban assault vehicle for a police station, I would think, with government spending, this is at least in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm going to say on the low end, probably $250,000 for a fully stocked urban assault vehicle with everything that a police department would need in it. And I'm saying that's on the low end. On the high end, some people might say $500,000, I've been down to Acacia Park pretty much, every day for 2 weeks. And I've got a pretty good idea of how many homeless people are there. And given that the fear is that this urban assault vehicle is about to be used on protesters under the pretense that they are violating some sort of homeless ordinance that's meant to keep the city clean from squatters, What I'm thinking right now is, if they really cared about homeless people, you could take the number of homeless that are actually in the park all the time that I've seen after 2 weeks. Just take an average of that number of people that I've seen, and divide it into the price of that urban assault vehicle, and you would probably come out with jobs for the entire year for all of these homeless people that would be above the poverty level. And you could pay them to do anything, like pick up trash, and they would have enough money to live off of. It would be a livable wage, just for an entire year. And instead of being proactive and dealing with the homeless issue that way, they would rather be reactive and, kick people when they're down. something's got to change.